Now, my next guest, born to immigrant parents here in Southern California. He now leads an organization that serves as advocates for the nearly 30 million small businesses in the country. He was instrumental in helping to pass the historic tax cuts of 2017. Before joining his organization, he was the marketing and corporate strategy consultant for a bunch of Fortune 500 companies. Has an MBA from University of Michigan. Go Blue. Not having a pretty good football team this year. He is president and CEO of Job Creators Network. Please welcome to the program, Alfredo Ortiz. Hey, Alfredo, how are you?
Hey, Larry, go Blue.
We're not having a very good season, are we?
No, we're not, but this has just been typical 2020, I guess.
you know, Alfredo, Harbaugh has never beaten Ohio State. I think it's been eight races now, eight times now. He's never beaten them.
Dang, it's crazy, man.
You know, when I was there, when I was there, Alfredo, I went from a small school to Michigan, and I had never been at a school that had football like that. You know, 108,000 people at the big house
right.
every single week, and I was told Michigan could lose every single game, but if they win Ohio State, it's a successful season.
Yeah, that's so true. It's funny. I actually I went from a small liberal arts school to Michigan as well, so it was a big shock, that's for sure. Southern California to Ann Arbor, and man, I tell you. But those games were something, weren't they, Larry?
They really were. Now, Alfredo, it'll also be a shock if the Republicans lose these two Senate seats. As you know, they're probably going to both go off to a runoff. What happens in the hopefully unlikely event that the Democrats get control of the Senate? Maybe it's 50-50, and then Kamala Harris would be the tiebreaker. What happens if we end up in a situation like that?
Disaster. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. I mean, what will happen there is they will have full control of all the arms of government, branches of government. You're going to see the record, the tax cuts go away because Joe Biden basically promised, read my lips, all new taxes. Small business owners are going to get crushed. He says 400,000 over. It's going to go down to like about 130,000. So pretty much every, fairly successful small business owner will get hit with that. The Green New Deal, will go through, I'm sure, elements of it, the federal $15 minimum wage, and then the gradual takeover of our healthcare system. People like kind of saying, oh, but it's Biden care, it's, this public option. The way I see it, it's still socialized medicine, Larry, except Biden care is kind of what I call the local versus what Medicare for All and Bernie Sanders' plan was the express train, right? It's all going to the same place, which is socialized medicine. And, so it's going to be disastrous from that perspective. And when you think about it, Larry, what the cabinet could potentially look like, imagine Bernie Sanders as Labor Secretary, Elizabeth Warren as Treasury Secretary, AOC as Secretary of Energy. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, this country will not, it won't look anything like it looks like now. And it's just such a shame.
Alfredo Ortiz is my guest. He's president and CEO of Job Creators Network. By the way, their website, jobcreatorsnetwork.com. That's jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Alfredo, I'm sure you've read about this big powwow the Democrats had when they were licking their wounds after the election because they assumed they were going to pick up 10 to 15 seats in the House and take control of the Senate. They didn't do that. And apparently there was quite a bit of anger directed towards the squad. And some of the members of the squad were on the phone call and they pushed back. My point is, does that give you any sliver of confidence that maybe these guys are not going to be quite as crazy as we think they're going to be?
Well, look, I bet you in his little bunker in his basement there, Biden must be hoping that the Democrats don't take both seats, right? Because they're pretty much, the Senate then will at least be in control of Republicans and at least will be balanced. And it looks like West Virginia Senator Manchin may kind of caucus with the Republicans in terms of the court packing as well as in terms of getting rid of the filibuster. So, and AOC, by the way, expressed, her dismay over that. So she's trying to, push things around. But I have to tell you, one interesting thing, though, Larry, if you think about it, if Elizabeth Warren does get, if this all goes through and it is, President Biden and Vice President Harris, and they do put Warren in as the Treasury Secretary, the governor of Massachusetts, remember, is Republican, and he can put in a Republican senator, so they may gain on one and lose on the other.
Mm-hmm. Alfredo,
You know?
it seems to me on Tuesday night, assuming Biden becomes the president, that Trump lost, but his policies didn't lose. And I'm not seeing anything coming out of Biden that suggests some sort of dramatic reversal of what President Trump has been doing. And you look at, again, the House. They've expanded their seats in the House. Looks like we got at least a pickup of maybe 5, maybe even 10. Retain control of the Senate. So it seems to me his policies about immigration, about the judges, all these things were on for vote, and it seems to me they won.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. You know, I think that entire radical agenda from the left, you know, Bernie Sanders and AOC, it was clearly rejected. It really was. But I think they're trying to assert their level of influence in any way possible still. I mean, we'll see. But I think, you know, the important thing for the Republicans to do in Georgia with those 2 Senate seats is to really tag both Warnock and Ossoff with that liberal agenda. I mean, if I were the Republicans, you know, in terms of their campaign there, that's what I would be doing, because that was clearly, I think, rejected by the American public when you look at the vote counts and what people were really looking at. You know, and you know, what President Trump had put in place in this, return economic recovery is true. I mean, look at the numbers right now, Larry. Unemployment was at 6.9%. Another, you know, almost 900,000 jobs added. I mean, this Super V recovery is working. And so, you know, now I'm really concerned that, if this extends all the way and it is January 20th and Biden's sworn in, you know, the lockdown, they're going to come right back. And our economy can't survive that. We've already spent almost $9 trillion supporting the economy. We can't have another round of, 4 to 6 week lockdowns of our entire economy. It just can't happen.
My guest has been Alfredo Ortiz, President, CEO of Job Creators Network. Website, jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Alfredo, real quickly, who won this election?
Well, we're still waiting to find out. I'll be honest with you. You know, until all the votes are counted, we make sure that the legal votes are legal and counted and that the legal votes are removed. I'm still saying we're waiting to hear.
Alfredo Ortiz, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Larry.
You got it.